Hi guys, I'm Promise, and want to apologize about not sending up the video last week. I had a lot of work to get to, and that was a little bit more important. Not that this isn't important to me. This is very important to me, and sorry, I'm a little just like today. I have a stomach flu. I've been going through it for like 3 days, which is like super fucking weird because some people only get a stomach flu for like a day. But I wanted to talk to you about like consciousness and at what age should a child be held accountable for their actions. The youngest someone has said was 3 years old, and the oldest someone said was 28. And the research that I've done, it says that a child isn't fully conscious and fully aware of like themselves up until the ages between 5 and 6 years old. So like, when a little kid is standing in front of the TV, and that's because they think they're made of glass. It's true. They really do not realize that you can't see through them. They don't realize that they're blocking the TV. So, if you have a little kid at home that's like always standing in front of the TV and it's like 3 years old, it really doesn't realize that it's just in the way like all the time. And then like other things came up. I was, when I was doing this research, it's like at what age should a child be held accountable for their actions? And I was talking about like the prison system, and I was saying that like children under like 10 years old are in a different section from children 10 and older, and that's because they're not fully sure if the child knows they did something wrong or like was trained to, or just they're not sure about the consciousness of the child. So they had to keep them separated from the kids that actually know they're doing stuff wrong, just because it's so delicate in between that time of like under ages like 10. But then again, like my little brother's 8 years old, and we have like full conversations about what's going on with him. It may take a while and a little bit of a push, but he's 8 and he understands. My niece is like 5, 6 years old, and she somewhat understands. So it's like I feel like under those ages, like 4 years old, then they may not understand. But if you can have a conversation with them and they'll tell you what's going on, I feel like they're old enough to understand like the whole right and wrong thing. I believe that it's as soon as possible, as soon as they're consciously aware and know the difference, somewhat of a difference between right and wrong, like I'm not supposed to do this, then that's when they should be held accountable for their actions. As far as 28, I feel like that's a huge gap between like a child and a grown up. Like you still know you're doing something wrong. You may not be like fully developed mentally, because they say at 28 years old, that's when your frontal lobe closes. So that's when you make like all the right decisions, you think better, just stuff like that. But I think you should be held responsible way before that. Like there's no way that for the past almost 30 years of your life, everything you did, nothing was your fault. That's ridiculous. Bella's sleeping. Normally I would like take her out and wait for her to you guys, but she's sleeping because today's kind of a gray day. So as far as consciousness and being held accountable for your actions, I personally believe the earliest age you possibly can is maybe 4 years old. The earliest age you can have a kid with. Hope you don't have a kid at 4. That's a little creepy and strange. My bad. The earliest age you should be able to talk to a kid about what they're doing wrong and their current decisions. I would say 4. That's when you start making them consciously aware. Some kids, they take longer. Not everyone's the same. Don't think your kid's retarded if it takes them a little bit longer. They're not. Probably shouldn't have said that word. Don't think there's anything wrong with your kid. At 4, you're not able to have these conversations, especially not if your kid's the oldest, because oldest kids, they don't really have someone to like learn from. Of course there's a parent, but they don't really have like anyone to really learn from, that they would be looking up to. So I would say, like, if your kid's like 4 years old and it's the oldest, give it a break. If your kid's like 4 years old and it's the youngest, then raise some hell, because it definitely knows better. Wow, I like seriously look like shit. Oh well. But anyways, like, share, subscribe, comment. No, you guys won't do any of those things because you're all trash. But, you know, share my video. Have a good one.